Greetings, my friends. I want to thank you all for subscribing. I want to thank all of my channel members for supporting me in this endeavor to save pop culture. And if you are not subscribed, please consider supporting this channel. We need you. Thank you. My friends, Harvey Cthulhu put it best when he famously declared, "The wages of woke is broke." Only now is Hollywood starting to wake up to this universal truth, all too late for some franchises. And it appears, judging by the recent Skeleton Crew ratings, that one of those doomed franchises is Star Wars. Just the other day, an article appeared on Forbes titled, "How the Acolyte Beat Skeleton Crew," which made me kind of sick, frankly, to even think that that piece of shit yanked right out of some safe space sewer actually beat Skeleton Crew in any way. Skeleton Crew isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but let me tell you, setting the first two boring and annoying episodes aside, this show brought back a sense of fun and innocence to Star Wars that has been sorely lacking. The show delivered big time in its final two episodes. Excellent music, solid pace, and actual plot, heaven forbid, and some of the best action sequences I've seen in Disney Star Wars, because we actually cared about some of these characters. I know all of us fans are pissed off bad at Disney and Star Wars, and many of us have completely given up on the franchise. But see, being the future ruler of Earth, I have to watch this crap in order to review it and keep you apprised of developments in pop culture. So while I would have skipped this entirely, if not for that fact, I have to tell you that, forced to watch it, I actually found parts of Skeleton Crew to be pretty damn fun. I laughed out loud at some parts and have to take my hat off to the creators of this show. They managed to generate fun, thanks in no small part to Jude Law's excellent performance and the pirate droid, who was a good comic relief. The kids were okay. They're kids if you like that sort of thing, but holy shit, Jude Law just has that thing known as it. The same kind of thing Harrison Ford had once upon a time before he became a curmudgeonly asshole. But all this raises the question, if a show is good, but no one watches it, is it a failure? And what does this failure mean for Star Wars? I'm dismayed to think that a pretty good show like Skeleton Crew could in any way be bested by the Acolyte. So I read the following article in Forbes, and I wanted to share it with you, gripe about it a little bit, get some of that off of my chest, and then, like in the Super Friends cartoon of old, end this video with a moral. So, by way of explanation of what they meant by that headline, here's some of what they said in the article. Quote, "Star Wars is having somewhat of a resurgence right now." Well, that's ridiculous. It's not having a resurgence, and the very premise that the article reaches at the end contradicts that sentence, but never mind. This is just part of my venting. A lukewarm reception to the third season of The Mandalorian in 2025 was followed by Ahsoka, which was only slightly better received by audiences. The nadir was last year's The Acolyte, the worst reviewed Star Wars show in history. Then came Skeleton Crew, which captured the hearts of fans with its 1980s-inspired storyline. However, it doesn't appear to have been enough to make its mark. After 7 episodes, Skeleton Crew has earned an impressive rating of 91% from critics on review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, whilst audiences have awarded it a respectable 80%. Word about it doesn't seem to have spread far, though, as Skeleton Crew didn't make it into Nielsen's top 10 original streaming chart in its first 2 weeks.
Well, let's not be too precious about this. The first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew were pretty lousy. I wouldn't say they sucked, but parts of them sucked, with the insufferable girl boss and that Warhol LaForge girl with Geordie's visor and Andy Warhol's hair, and it was slow as molasses chilled below freezing after watching an STD marathon, which would make anyone slow. Not the way to launch a Star Wars series. Boring and annoying people.
Very true, Harvey Cthulhu, very true. It was a piss-poor start to the series. It was only in episode 3 when things really picked up, and any of you out there who haven't watched Skeleton Crew, I urge you to just start at episode 3. Everything that happened in the first 2 episodes I could sum up like this. A bunch of kids on a hidden planet some think contains some kind of famous treasure, get trapped on a runaway spaceship, travel to a star base, get thrown in jail when trying to get help returning home to their mythical planet, and in that cell they find Jude Law, who may be a Jedi. There, that's all you need to know, and it's one of the reasons the first 2 episodes are boring as shit dipped in vanilla sitting on a teacher's desk in Spanish class. But I digress. The article continues, quote, "Surprisingly, Skeleton Crew failed to qualify despite debuting its first 2 episodes on the same night. During the week of its premiere, the bottom spot on Nielsen's streaming originals list was occupied by the Great British Baking Show, which was viewed for 382 million minutes, meaning that Skeleton Crew came to less than that," unquote. This article then tries to make a case, and I think somewhat successfully, that the reason The Acolyte has outperformed Skeleton Crew in the ratings is because of the controversy surrounding it. Basically, everyone loves to gawk at a grotesque train wreck, and The Acolyte was one mangled, twisted, smoking car after another. Quote, "The female-focused cast of The Acolyte led to it courting controversy before it had even launched. It led to the show being branded woke and getting review bombed. Well, to be fair, it was woke, and it didn't get review bombed, it simply got reviewed and bombed. In turn, its cast and showrunner Leslie Headland had to defend its diversity and inclusivity throughout the run of the show, which kept it in the public eye. The questionable caliber of the show kept people talking, as did this author's revelation that it cost Disney a staggering $207.8 million to make. I personally have been told it was a much bigger budget than that, but never mind. Now see, here we get to the article's conclusion as to why The Acolyte outperforms Skeleton Crew, and the reason why this is noteworthy is because in explaining failures like this, the mainstream media frequently ignores the giant flaming bantha in the room, reaching a reasonable conclusion, but ignoring the ultimate conclusion because it's not okay to publicly admit it. The article reads, quote, "There are 2 reasons why the media dominance of The Acolyte caused a disturbance in the force for Skeleton Crew. Firstly, it sent out a signal that Star Wars may be past its prime." No kidding. Secondly, it led to Star Wars fatigue, making media outlets less likely to write about a solid show with no controversial angles so soon after one which became famous for all the wrong reasons. As a result, Skeleton Crew has only attracted 59% of the coverage that The Acolyte got, and it doesn't seem to have been watched as much despite being far better reviewed. Many potential viewers may not even know that it is playing, and it could have The Acolyte to thank for that. Unquote. See, all of that is true enough, but the simple fact of the matter is, the wages of woke is broke. That's all there is, folks. They talk about Star Wars fatigue, they talk about Skeleton Crew not being controversial, but they're missing the point. The point is, obnoxious, hateful, cultural vandalism is a toxin. And once that toxin takes hold of a franchise, that franchise is dead. Period. It's a fatal toxin, which the media refuses to talk about, and Disney didn't realize it until it was far too late. Yes, controversy drove whatever ratings Acolyte secured, but that controversy was a death sentence for the franchise. Skeleton Crew is orders of magnitude better than Acolyte. In fact, I'd probably say it's the second or third best Star Wars series behind Mandalorian and Andor, both of which had some excellent moments in them. But see, after razing Star Wars to the ground and salting the scorched earth with pure concentrated wokeness, many fans are never coming back. It's going to be really, really hard to get any fans to come back to the scene of this particular crime. It's not franchise fatigue at this point, it's franchise Armageddon. Such is the current state of Star Wars, and it's a damn shame. Though flawed, Skeleton Crew was definitely worth a watch, and was more or less a step in the right direction. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha